Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Senator, thanks for being here.
Glad to be with you, Brett.
The negotiations over a coronavirus bill, possible?
Well, I hope so. I've been trying to get an outcome here for quite a while. As you may recall, a few weeks ago, I put a rescue package on the floor of the Senate targeting kids, jobs, health care, and liability protection. And at that point, we couldn't get a single Democrat to vote for it. So I think what's happened here is we've gotten closer to the election. The spirit of bipartisanship on coronavirus that we had in March and April has largely disappeared.
What is your number? The House Democrats are saying they've come down. What is your number? What can you stomach?
Well, what I put on the Senate floor 3 weeks ago was about $500 billion, narrowly targeted at exactly what the economy needs at this point. What the Speaker did, even after coming down a full $1 trillion, is throw everything you could imagine into the package, including tax cuts for rich people in California and New York, and free health care for illegal immigrants. That sort of thing is not appropriate.
So you sound pretty pessimistic.
Look, I'd like to get another rescue package. I think there's more that needs to be done for the economy. But it's important to remember we already now have a debt the size of our economy for the first time since World War II. This has got to stop unless it's narrowly targeted at the problem.
All right, but one more try. If they come down to 1.2, can you get there?
Brett, I'm not going to negotiate with you. The principal negotiation is between the President and the Speaker of the House. If they can reach an agreement, I'll take a look at it and see whether I can sell that to Senate Republicans.
All right, speaking of selling it, have you definitively decided that if Amy Coney Barrett gets out of the Senate Judiciary Committee, let's say October 22nd, as planned, that you will have a vote before Election Day?
Yeah, I haven't decided when the vote would occur on the floor, but we do anticipate Judge Barrett coming out of committee on October 22nd. I think that's a pretty likely outcome, and then we'll decide when to go forward.
Well, how much debate time should there be for a lifetime appointment?
Well, there's plenty of debate going on in committee. It started today, even without the nominee there. The American people, I think, really need an opportunity to get to meet and know Judge Barrett, and that'll happen during the Judiciary Committee hearings. We were calling each other hypocrites before. What we need to see is the nominee, and we'll have an opportunity to do that over the next few weeks. She's spectacular. An incredible life story, wonderful family, 5 kids, 2 adopted kids, 1 special needs kid. And one of our professors at Notre Dame wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post recently saying she was the single most brilliant student he had ever had in all of his years teaching law at Notre Dame.
For the election lookers who say, how does this Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett, play for these tight Republican races, how do you see it? As far as if you get this nominee through, how does it play in those races?
Well, the pending nomination, I think, is a big asset. I'm happy to put this nominee front and center in my campaign. I'm happy to tell the voters of Kentucky my opponent would oppose this outstanding nominee. I support her. I think it's an asset in my state and an asset in many, many states around the country.
Let's say you don't get it before Election Day. Last question on this. And election happens. Let's say from your perspective, optimistically, you hold on to the Senate majority, but there will be some senators in your caucus who lose. Is it okay for a lame duck Senate to vote on a Supreme Court nominee to be a justice?
Well, this Republican Senate was elected for a term that ends in January of next year. The president was elected for a 4-year term that ends January 20th of next year. There are no reduced constitutional prerogatives during either of our tenures. And in fact, Brett, you will remember 2 years ago when my party actually gained 2 seats in the Senate while we were losing the House, the biggest issue in the campaign was a Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh.
How do you describe the debate that happened the other night?
Well, it wasn't Lincoln Douglas, I can tell you that.
Does it hurt your Senate folks who are up for election this time?
Well, there'll be 2 more debates, and I hope both the candidates will approach the next debate in a little more respectful way. It'd be a good idea, I think, to let each of the candidates finish their answers. But look, they're the candidates. They get to decide how to engage with each other. And we've got 2 more to go, and I'm hoping they'll be a little better for the American people's viewing.
Yeah, here's how The Hill wrote it. They said, instead of spending Wednesday touting nominee Amy Coney Barrett, Republican senators spent the day fielding questions about the president's refusal to directly rebuke white supremacist groups or to commit to a peaceful transfer of power. Senator Tillis, who's trailing his Democratic opponent in recent polls, declared white supremacy or any organizations that are antagonistic should be condemned 24/7. Senator Daines, who's in a tough re-election race, quipped, "It was a barroom brawl, and as we say in Montana, it got a little Western at times." So it just takes some days away from the campaigns.
Well, with regard to white supremacy, there's no place for that in America. I and others, and all of my colleagues, condemn it in the strongest possible terms. I think Senator Tim Scott from South Carolina probably said it better than anyone. We all would be better off immediately condemning white supremacy wherever we hear references to it.
If the election does not get decided on November 3rd, and there are some states that are still having problems getting to finding their final number or their electors, how do you think that would look from a congressional perspective?
Well, it could happen. I mean, there's no question that how elections are conducted are decided in each of our states. And some states have adopted an approach to this with regard to the counting of mail-in ballots that could delay the results. It could happen. Would have to wait to find out who won. But there's nothing the federal government can do about that. If a given state decides to conduct an election in a certain way, that's the way it'll be conducted. In my state, for example, we used to mostly vote in person. This time, there'll be more mail-in voting because of the coronavirus. I accept that as the outcome in my state of how the election is going to be conducted, and I'll adjust my campaign accordingly. Who knows? I mean, we think this will be settled well before the end of the year, no matter, how many states may end up having short-term election disputes. We saw it in 2000 go on for 5 weeks, but it was settled well in advance of the time for the new president and the new Congress to be sworn in.
Senator Mitch McConnell, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Brett.